Hello everybody, welcome back to the Praetorian. This is Roger Hanson, and today I am going to put out a new video. Sorry I haven't done one in a while. I've been doing a lot of research and everything on how to take care, or how to record better, with better quality, and I've been having issues with a lot of different things when it comes to my audio and videos, so I finally buckled down and started learning a little bit more. So I wanted to do that before I actually continued with my videos on here. So with that, I'm going to start off with the story that I want to tell you, read to you, and this is called The Battle of Long Island. I am going to use my screen capture. I have been working on doing the different features on my OBS, so hopefully this comes out good. And this is Battle of Long Island, and these are some notes that I took on Facebook about it back on May 6, 2009. And the battle took place on Long Island, and it was actually in the Brooklyn Heights, and it was part of the American Revolutionary War. The date was August the 22nd or 27th through the 30th of 1776. The location was Brooklyn, Long Island, and New York. The result was a decisive victory for the British. The belligerents was the Continental Army, British Army, Hessian mercenaries, and the commanders were George Washington, Israel Putnam, William Howe, Charles Cornwallis, Henry Clinton, and the strength was 10,000 to 11,000 British troops, 9,000 Hessian troops. Casualties and losses was 312 killed, 1,407 wounded or missing, 1,186 captured, with a total of 2,905, 63 killed, 309 wounded or missing, with a total of 372. Long Island, Kips Bay, Harlem Heights, Pell's Point, White Plains, Fort Washington, Trenton, Assunpink Creek, Princeton, Forge War, Bound Brook. The Battle Pass area, also known as Flatbush Pass, in the area of modern-day Prospect Park and Greenwood Cemetery. The Battle of Long Island, also known as the Battle of Brooklyn, fought on August 27, 1776, was the first major battle in the American Revolutionary War following the United States Declaration of Independence. The largest battle of the entire conflict, and the first battle an Army of the United States ever engaged in. The battle and its immediate aftermath were marked by the British capture of New York City, which it held for the entire war, the execution of the American Nathan Hale, and the burning of nearly a quarter of the city's building in the Great Fire of New York. In the following weeks, British forces occupied Long Island. However, General George Washington and his Continental Army escaped capture. On March 17, 1776, the British fleet retreated to Halifax, Nova Scotia, to refit after the end of the year-long siege of Boston. Washington, who had successfully taken Boston, expected a new attack on New York. He moved his troops to Long Island and New York, arrived himself on April the 13th and reinforced fortifications there. General Charles Lee succinctly assessed the untenable situation of defending New York City without control of the sea, Washington's essential strategic error. "What to do with this city I own puzzles me," he wrote to Washington. "It is so encircled with deep navigable waters that whoever commands the sea must command the town." Washington's inexperience led him astray, till of late he wrote after the disaster, "I had no doubt in my own mind of defending this place." On July the 4th, 1776, the Declaration of Independence was ratified in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. In the same month, Lieutenant General Sir William Howe established his headquarters for their operations on Staten Island in New Drop at the Rose and Crown Tavern near the junction of present New Drop Lane and Amboy Road, which awaited reinforcements from his brother, Admiral Lord Howe. On August the 22nd, 1776, Colonel Edward Hand sent word to Lieutenant General George Washington that the British were preparing to cross the Narrows of Brooklyn from Staten Island. Under the overall command of Howe and the operational command of Major General Charles Cornwallis and Sir Henry Clinton, the British force numbered over 30,000. The British commenced their landing in Gravesend Bay, where, after having strengthened his forces for over 7 weeks on Staten Island, Admiral Richard Howe moved 88 frigates. The British landed a total of 34,000 men south of Brooklyn. About half of Washington's army, led by Major General Israel Putnam, was deployed to defend the village of Flatbush near Brooklyn, while the rest held Manhattan. In a night march suggested and led by Clinton, the British forces used the lightly defended Jamaica Pass to turn Putnam's left flank. The following morning, American troops were attacked and fell back. Men under General William Alexander, numbered about 400, fought a delaying action at the Old Stone House near the Gowanus Creek, attacking and counterattacking a British artillery position there and sustaining over 50% casualties. This significantly aided the withdrawal of most of Washington's army to fortifications on Brooklyn Heights. Later in the day, the British paused. This was not unusual in combat of the time, as horrendous casualties could result from point-blank musket fire and hand-to-hand combat. Even the winner of such a battle could find himself unable to proceed. It was not uncommon for a commander, certain of the numerical and tactical superiority of his force, to offer a cornered enemy the option to surrender and thus avoid further bloodshed, with the ultimate outcome of the battle certain. If former surrender terms were not made, the commander in a hopeless situation could at least be afforded an opportunity to consider his situation and presumably decide to surrender. It appears that this happened here. The British commanders surely remembered the Battle of Bunker Hill and the casualties they suffered in the Pyrrhic victory. During the night of August the 29th, through August 30, 1776. Having lost the battle, the Americans evacuated Long Island for Manhattan, not wanting to have any more casualties. The Americans devised a plan. This evacuation of more than 9,000 troops required stealth and luck and the skill of Colonel John Glover and his 14th Continental Regiment from Marblehead, Massachusetts. It was not completed by surprise as scheduled, and had a heavy fog not beset Long Island in the morning. The army may have been trapped between the British and the East River. However, the maneuver took the British by complete surprise. Even having lost the battle, Washington's withdrawal earned him praise from both the Americans and the British. Western Long Island. On September the 11th, 1776, the British received a delegation of Americans consisting of Benjamin Franklin, Edward Rutledge, and John Adams at the Conference House on the southwestern tip of Staten Island, known today as Tottenville, on the former estate of Loyalist Christopher Billop. The peace conference failed as the Americans refused to revoke the Declaration of Independence. The terms were formally rejected on September the 15th. On September the 15th, after heavy bombarding Green militia forces, the British crossed to Manhattan, landed at Kips Bay, and routed the Americans there as well. The following day, the two armies fought the Battle of Harlem Heights, resulting in a tactical withdrawal. The Continental Army effectively abandoned Manhattan after devastating defeat at the Battle of Fort Washington. After a further battle at White Plains, Washington retreated across the Hudson to New Jersey. The British occupied New York until 1783, when they evacuated the city as agreed in the Treaty of Paris. Great Fire of New York in 1776. On September the 21st, a fire broke out in Whitehall Street, widely believed to be at the Fighting Cock's Tavern, near the Battery in New York City. High winds carried it to nearly a quarter of the city's buildings, consuming 460 to 500 buildings. The British accused the rebels of setting the fire, although native New Yorkers instead blamed the British. In the wake of the fire, Nathan Hale, a captain in the Connecticut Rangers, volunteered to enter New York in civilian clothes, posing as a Dutch schoolteacher. Hale successfully gathered intelligence, but was captured before he could return to the rebel lines. Hale was captured on September the 21st, 1776, and hung the next day on the orders of Howe. According to legend, Hale uttered before being hung, "I only regret that I have but one life to lose for my country." Eastern Long Island. While most of the battle was concentrated in western Long Island, within about 10 miles, 16 kilometers, of Manhattan, British troops were also deployed to the east to capture the entire 110 miles, 180-kilometer length of Long Island to Montauk, M-O-N-T-A-U-K. The British met little to no opposition in this operation. Henry B. Livingston was dispatched with 200 Continental troops to draw a line at what is now Shinnecock Canal at Hampton's Bay to prevent the port of Sag Harbor from falling. Livingston, faced with insufficient manpower, abandoned Long Island to the British in September. Residents of East Long Island were told to take a loyalty oath to the British government. In Sag Harbor, families met on September 14, 1776 to discuss the matter at the Sag Harbor Meeting House. 14 of the 35 families decided to evacuate to Connecticut. The British planned to use Long Island as a staging ground for a new invasion on New England. They attempted to regulate ships going into Long Island Sound and blockaded Connecticut. The exact number of American soldiers who fought in the battle is unknown, but estimates are that there were at least 10,000, mostly New York militia reinforced from Connecticut, Delaware, and Maryland. Perhaps 1,407 Americans were wounded, captured, or missing, while 312 were killed. A British report claimed the capture of 89 American officers, including Colonel Samuel Miles, and 1,097 others. Out of 32,000 British and Germans, including 9,000 Hessians, on Long Island, they sustained a total loss of 377. 5 British officers and 58 men were killed, while 13 officers and 270 men were wounded or went missing. Of the Hessian forces under Karl von Donop, 2 were killed and 3 officers, and 23 were wounded. The Minerva statue. The battle is commemorated with a statue of Minerva near the top of Battle Hill, the highest point of Brooklyn, in Greenwood Cemetery. The statue on the northwest corner of the cemetery looks towards the Statue of Liberty. In 2006, the statue was evoked in a successful defense to prevent a building from blocking the Manhattan view from the cemetery. The Prison Ship Martyrs Monument, a freestanding Doric column on Fort Greene, memorialized all those who died while kept prisoners on the British ships just off the shore of Brooklyn in Wallabout Bay. The Old Stone House, a reconstructed farmhouse in 1699, serves as a museum of the Battle of Long Island, also known as the Battle of Brooklyn. It is located in J.J. Byrne Park at 3rd Street and 5th Avenue, Brooklyn, situated within the boundaries of the original battle, and features models and maps. Prospect Park, Brooklyn. Battle Pass. Along the eastern side of Center Drive in Prospect Park, Brooklyn, is a large granite boulder with a brass plaque affixed. The inscription reads, "Historical marker of Battle Pass. At this point, the old Porte Road, or Valley Grove Road, intersected the line of hills separating Flatbush from Brooklyn and Gowanus. In the Battle of Long Island, August 27, 1776, this pass was barricaded in front by Dungeon Oak and other obstructions. It was protected by artillery on Redoubt Hill, just to the east. Here the American forces stood their ground against the Hessians coming from the south, till flanked by the river, from the river by a body of British troops. General Sullivan was captured, but most of his troops retreated across what is now the Long Meadow, joining the Maryland and other troops for the final resistance near Old Stone House of Gowanus. Now, that is where I'm going to go ahead and end it on the Battle of Long Island. I do hope that you guys enjoyed the video or the audio, whichever one you want to call it. Like I said, I'll be doing more videos like this in the future. It's just I wanted to get more familiar with my equipment and get better with my audio and video before I made more. And like I said, I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, please like, subscribe, share. If you have any comments, please feel free to make comments. We love feedback. Feedback's welcome. So thank you for watching.